What is the biblical definition of sensuality? Let's take a look just in case. Let's see. It basically denotes a lack of self-control. Okay, well, there we go. Let's just jump. I don't know what you think of when you think of sensuality, but I hope that this erases all of the shame and negativity that comes to your mind when you think of sensuality, sexuality, and it being able to express it openly and freely, because it's so important. And what comes to your mind when you think of pleasure? Is it a bubble bath with some wine, sex, burning in hell? There's a negative connotation behind pleasure and sensuality, and I want to erase that today. Let's rewind and talk about those sex ed talks that we had in school. Can you remember yours? Mine was separate, I'm pretty sure. Like, we divided boys and girls, but I feel like maybe there was one we watched all together, but I don't know. I think we separated. What about you? Please let me know, because I'm curious. Probably a lot of laughter, especially from the boys. Insanely awkward. Informative, but never to be talked about again in any circumstance. Did your parents talk to you about sex? Did you have a sex talk with them? Or were you left to just figure it out? Did you learn from porn? Did you learn from movies? Did you learn from your friends? Sex is taught as something to be scared of, and all the fear tactics behind you will get
pregnant and STDs and herpes and
all of these horrible, horrible things that can happen to you. There's so much shame surrounding pleasure, especially for women. We often feel undeserving of being able to have pleasure. We're meant to just serve and give and know what we're doing, but then neglect our own needs. But we're also not allowed to explore our own needs, or what it means to desire and be desired. It's kind of unfair, because if we love being desired, then there's slut shaming. And if you have lack of desire and libido, then there's something wrong with you. When the real problem is that sex education is not talked about. We're given birth control as a solution to our problems with little explanation of what it is and what it's gonna do to our bodies. Why are we so insecure about talking about sex or talking about pleasure? I know I've listed some things before, but let's really think about it. Why is it uncomfortable for you? How many of you deal with pain during sex? How many of you feel broken? You can't orgasm. You have only had very few and you feel like there's something wrong with you. There's not anything wrong with you. It's what's wrong with everything else. There's so many factors that go into being able to have enjoyable sex and to have an orgasm, like your mental health, stress, anxiety, depression, insecurity, fear of being seen, fear of shame, lack of confidence in yourself. And it sucks because you want to have good sex because you know that there's amazing benefits to orgasms and sexual relationships. It's great for your mental health. It's a great stress reliever. It's great for your anxiety. But how do I do that when it's just the constant battle of, well, I don't have a high libido because I'm stressed? Birth control 100% is affecting your sex drive. And there's so many medications that they put us on that absolutely are disintegrating all of your libido. But I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. There's so many things that come into play with your mental space involving sex and involving pleasure in your body. So let's talk about it for a second. If you want to journal this down, we can, or if you want to pause it and think about it, just think about it throughout this next week, because this is something that I've been thinking about a lot and I've worked on, and I want to share this with you because I just want it to help. You're not alone. And I think if you don't have a friend group who likes to talk about sex, or you never had family members, like, it's very, very important. It's such a intimate part of our lives and such a crucial part of our lives and impactful thing that we're not meant to talk about, but it can affect us mentally and physically so much. Let me scroll up. Let me scroll up on my notes. I want you to think about this. When you're having sex, or maybe pleasing yourself, when you are in the act, where is your mind? Are you present in your body? Are you present in the moment? Or are you worried about the dishes in the sink, the stressful day you had at work, kids, family issues? Are you insecure about your body and the way it's looking, and you're worried, like trying to hold yourself in certain ways so like you're not seen? Are you too worried about your appearance that you want the lights off and you don't want to be seen by your partner? Maybe it's resentment towards your partner. Maybe it's a lack of communication. You just have a lot on your mind. Maybe you're dealing with things. Maybe you're going through your own healing process. This is all taking away from your sexual enjoyment and everything that should be intimate with yourself and with your partner. So ask yourself, what is it that is keeping me from experiencing sex and pleasure and enjoying it more freely? The next thing I want you to ask yourself is, what messages did you receive about sex as a child? Like, really try to think back to the very first time that you even maybe heard about sex, thought about sex. I know I didn't have a very good first encounter, but what I do know growing up and thinking about it now is like my first message. I asked myself, my body's not my own and I'm not allowed to say no. I'm too scared to say no. Even if something happens to my body that I don't want, nothing's gonna be done. I always felt weird about it and uncomfortable, and also had my own shame behind it, and that's the point that I'm trying to diminish. Like, we should not feel shameful for the experiences that we've had. It doesn't have anything to do with us and the person that we are, and we are not those experiences. You're not alone, and let's get through this together because I've got some cool tips for you. Any other first messages I've received about sex was the sex talk. The one positive one I can say, so I was reading a book. I think I was like in junior high, and I want to say it's called The Anatomy of a Single Girl, and I have it somewhere. I need to go look it up. But she talked about masturbating in the water of the bathtub, like letting the water like fall down on her. And I remember being like, interesting concept. So I did it, and it was great. So I think I had a decently healthy relationship with pleasuring myself, but I still felt so dirty about it, and I felt really bad, and there was a lot of shame behind it and a lot of guilt. So maybe it wasn't the healthiest, but I'm glad I had something. How can we start changing and shifting our minds to enjoying pleasure and being indulged in it? This is for everybody in the sense of like, whether you have a partner, whether you're single, or you're struggling with low libido. If you want to be having more sex, you need to be pleasuring yourself. You need to get blood flowing to those parts. You know what I mean? It's like with anything. If you want to be better at something, you gotta practice. You should have open communication with your partner and whoever you're having sex with, 100%. But sometimes it's hard because sometimes we expect to have sex with people, but we can't even talk to them or have intimate relationships with them. So you, more than anything, with these tips are about you and you alone and like solo pleasure, okay? So you need to have control over your own body and understand your own body. It helps you with everything. And you need to be able to communicate with your partner, but how can you communicate with your partner or whoever you're having sex with if you don't know what you want and understand what you like? Does that make sense? Okay. You're good. You're totally good. Do not be stressing because we're going to work through this together because I have created some things for you that I really want this to help. So how can we become comfortable asking for what we want? Great question. Well, first I would say let's start getting comfortable touching our own bodies and getting used to us, especially if we're dealing with body dysmorphia or you're insecure. Then we need to be comfortable in our own skin and our own bodies and find that confidence, which can be really hard sometimes. So if all of this is kind of like insane to you, maybe you've been pleasuring yourself for a while, maybe you are like mortified at the thought of touching yourself. Well, let's start with clean slate. Do this all over again, okay? I did this with myself and it helped a lot. So I come from at least experience and wanting to provide this for you. So wipe your mind clean and let's get into it. So first, let's talk about sensuality, which is what I looked up. The definition, when I looked up the sensuality definition, one of the first questions is, what is the biblical definition of sensuality? Sensuality is more the senses that you're experiencing. So touch, taste, sound, smell, all of that. Let's erase pleasure in a sexual sense for a moment. Let's strictly focus on pleasure in the form of our senses. What does pleasure mean to you? I think that's the biggest thing we need to ask ourselves first. For me, I absolutely love chocolate. That's pleasure to me. Top tier relaxation. If I'm totally relaxed, I can enjoy pleasure more. How do I get myself to relax? Well, I think of a bubble bath because I love it. I think of chocolate in the bubble bath with some wine. That's pleasure. We need to start bringing the things that bring us pleasure into our day-to-day lives. What are little things that we love, enjoy? Let's use hot showers. I think that's a great one that I think we can all relate to. When we're in our shower, how does the hot water feel on my skin? We're paying attention to everything while we're in there. We're lathering up, we're washing our hair. How does it feel when I'm like rubbing the scalp? All that good stuff. Think about the steam. What does my shampoo smell like? What does the body wash smell like? Getting a nice scrub and scrubbing our skin and the way it feels when we're exfoliated. I know we can relate to that. Yay. Okay. For those of you who don't know, I teach heels classes. And what I love to do is bringing women to feel confident in their bodies and be able to express their feminine energy and nature through dancing. And we do that through certain dance movements like arching our backs and doing our head rolls and all that kind of stuff that could just lights up a little part inside of our mind. It just awakens it and you feel good, and it's the sensations in your body and it's taking control over your body and feeling like I'm in control. I'm moving my hips the way I want to move them. I'm feeling comfortable in those movements and I'm getting to express that part of myself through dance. Being mindful and focusing on the intentions of each touch, of each sensation. Maybe it's a fuzzy blanket. Maybe it's the hot water in the shower. Now let's get into the fun stuff. Something that I realized, you learn a lot about yourself when you're pleasing yourself. And you should treat this like a therapy session each time you go in. Do it every day. Do it every other day. And it is completely false for anyone that tries to tell you that if you masturbate every day that you won't orgasm as much with your partner or whatever. If anything, it's helping your orgasm with your partner. It's putting more blood flow to those parts to where it's awakening your libido and it's awakening that desire. You need to be doing that. If you want to have a higher libido, you need to be figuring out how to pleasure yourself. Do it every day if you must. And it seems weird, but don't make it weird. Like, it's gonna feel uncomfortable, but to get comfortable, you're gonna have to be a little awkward. It's gonna be a little uncomfortable. One thing I noticed was I was such in a hurry to just be done. You know, like the quiet and quick, like, get it done. No one needs to hear about it. No one needs to know about it. Like, keep it hush hush, just get it done. And that's fine and all, and I get that. I get there's a lot of shame even behind it, but we still do it. Let's erase that. Like, you need to be able to do it and not be in a rush. There's nothing about pleasure that you should just be getting it over with. Does that make sense? Those two things should not be in the same sentence. So I caught myself feeling that way and I was like, wow, like, why am I trying to hurry? One, I know there's reasons of like, oh, if I'm home alone, like, you don't want to get caught, like, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But I wasn't in that situation. I knew I was going to be okay. And you should be. Find a place that you're comfortable and feel safe in and you won't be interrupted. And sometimes that helps. Sometimes people like that and that can be useful too. But in this case, try to not be interrupted. And I was like, what am I telling myself by trying to hurry? Like, I am telling my body, like, hey, you're not worthy of this. Like, I'm literally directly saying, like, your pleasure doesn't matter. Like, hurry up and orgasm. You know what I mean? Kind of like when we try to have sex and we're so pressured to orgasm and so we fake it. Or we do whatever if we're not mentally there because we're too worried about trying to orgasm. It doesn't work anymore. So stop. We're done. We're not doing that. Life's too short to be doing that anyway. We need to be having good sex. So, anyways, like, don't tell your body to just hurry up and come on. That's not helping your self-confidence. That's not helping your insecurities. That's not helping you become your higher self. That's not helping you grow as a person. It's not helping you show your self-value. If you're trying to fix your self-esteem and you're trying to be confident in yourself, don't devalue your body and your experiences and you. How are you supposed to feel worthy of pleasure when you yourself are just trying to get it over with? Forget that. And like that blew my mind and I was like, whoa. And I think that's one of the biggest things that helped me. And I was like, oh shit, like I can't be doing that. Like, that's not okay. The other thing I noticed is, I don't know if any of you are, it's uncomfortable to just like have your legs open, you know what I mean? And just have everything just all out. Like, we tend to want to kind of like keep our knees together, and especially if you're uncomfortable just being out in the open, or we're doing it all secretive, you know what I mean? I encourage you to fucking lay your legs all sprawled out and relax. Notice the tension in your body and try to relax. Like, try to relax your whole body. The more relaxed you are, the better it is. I noticed my hips were all like tight and like my legs were all close together and squeezing, and I had to teach myself to just lay my legs out and just be okay laying open. And I know that's uncomfortable too. So in your sessions, your little therapy sessions of self-pleasuring, the goal shouldn't be to orgasm, and the goal shouldn't be to hurry up and get it done. The goal is to get comfortable with your body. So maybe, let's say you are uncomfortable touching yourself. One thing I teach in my classes is to like just get comfortable touching our arms and giving our bodies love. Like just sitting there and like hugging yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror, touching your titties, all that stuff. Touch your legs, touch your butt, touch your neck, touch your collarbones, touch your hair, play with your hair, like show yourself positive touch. So if that's as far as you go on a session, that's as far as you go, and that's okay. We're trying to work on it piece by piece. Next is being able to lie open. It's not comfortable. It's not. And sometimes it's really hard, but when you work on it in a safe place that you feel safe and comfortable, set your environment up, turn the lights off even if you have to, that's okay. Have some candles on, have some nice music, whatever it is that you need to do to be relaxed and confident, try that. And then you can start adding some touch with it and doing all of that. Now in terms of what we're using to please ourselves, you can just use your hands. I think it's very common that women don't even know what they look like. I don't think they'd be able to pick it out. And I think that you should know what it looks like. One, because you gotta know if something's wrong. Two, it's your body. Show it the love and the respect that it needs and deserves. There's nothing wrong with knowing what you look like. And yeah, it's weird and uncomfortable at first, but realize that it's all the shame and the lack of talking about it that makes it weird and uncomfortable. It shouldn't be weird and uncomfortable. It's your body, and we should be taught at a very young age that it's okay. So anyways, back to the sessions. You can use your hands, try all kinds of different things. There's no right or wrong way to please yourself. I mean, you'll discover like, ooh, I don't like that, or ooh, that kind of feels good, but like, don't get caught up in the am I doing it right? Is there a right or wrong way? I think your body will tell you what is right and wrong. My biggest advice is to get a little vibrator, like a little bullet, and the best thing is like you can be putting it on your hips and put it just everywhere and just get used to that and just take your time and see what feels good. Literally, just see what feels nice. Lube always helps. There's water-based and silicone-based. I like coconut oil personally. It's natural, it's healthy, it's good for you. It doesn't make me itchy or anything, but that might not be the case for everyone, so look into what you're allergic to and test that out. But that kind of stuff helps too. Like, there's nothing wrong with using lubricant. You need that kind of stuff to enhance it. It's there for a reason, so there's no shame behind using it. It's making your experience better and comfortable, so be confident in it. In terms of discovering more of what you like, research it. Look up stuff. There's nothing wrong with looking up different things that you might like. The recent one I've gotten into is I've been reading fantasy romance novels, the smut books, and it is incredible, and it's done so many wonderful things for me. It's getting me aware of things that I like, and of course it's a fun escape. It's fun to indulge in those kind of things, and mine is very tame. I haven't gone too far yet, but like, now there's all kinds, just to preface, there's so much kind of smut, so look into what you would want. Look into it. Don't just go grab one willy-nilly. A Court of Thorns and Roses I have over here, that's what I started with. Very simple. It's like the gateway smut book, so it's very tame, very fantasy, very only little hints of smut, but enough to get you a taste of it and being like, oh, cool. Again, if you're bored and you're stressed all the time, how are you gonna get yourself in the mood? Spice it up. Spice up the different energy you're bringing out. It gives you confidence in reading that kind of stuff. It tells you what you like and don't like. I think I've said that 20 times, but it's true, and it teaches you how to communicate it with your partner. Like, hey, I saw this, something I kind of like it. Do you want to maybe try it? Do you think they're gonna say no? I mean, they might. The Karma Sutra, there's all those kind of cultures that talk about spirituality and sensuality and how spiritual sex can be. Look into that. Like, do your own research, do your own homework, and discover what other people think about it, because it can maybe. And again, don't just take everything word for word of what people say. Think about it how you want. Like, take it with a grain of salt and be like, huh, I really like that, I'm gonna use that, or I don't really like that, I don't want to. You don't have to use it. Porn, I will say, I'm not gonna say don't, but I'm also not gonna say it's probably the most informative. It's good for maybe going and seeing what you like, but it equally can have its own issues, and I think can do more harm than good. But just understand like it's not real, and I'll just stick with, I think sometimes it can do more harm than good. But if you found stuff that you like, hey, go for it. I always advise just be careful. To wrap it up, I just want to talk about why pleasure can be so beneficial to your life. For one, it's real dopamine and serotonin. We're getting dopamine shoved down us not organically all the time with social media, basically. It's so important to be experiencing it naturally. For our mental health, for our sanity, serotonin and dopamine in a natural way is so good for us. And it's of course an antidepressant and really, really great for anxiety. Pleasure can help you with your body image, 100%. So if you're struggling with insecurities and all of that, like get comfortable in your body and understand it. When you feel desire, it makes you feel amazing, and then it helps you want to be desired and be okay with being seen. Maybe you desire after yourself. I think that's kind of hot. I love lusting after myself, and it wasn't something I was able to do for a really long time. And there's also shame with that. Like that's one of the 7 deadly sins is lust, vanity. But I think there's a line of it that's really hot. That's why I love teaching about Aphrodite. And like, do you think she's shameful in pleasuring herself? Do you think that she is insecure about that? Hell no. She'll be like, here, let me walk you through the whole thing. Here's what I do. You want to do it with me? I like to think about that. And having positive sexual experiences with yourself or with a person can really boost your self-esteem. And it gives you a much better, healthy perception of yourself. So it's win-win. It helps you take control of your own body and helps you understand how to communicate and what you want in and out of the bedroom. And it helps you bring that kind of confidence to your life and in all areas of your life. Regular experiences of pleasure can help with your emotional resilience and help you be able to cope and manage your stress better. And of course, stress reduction. The biggest one is like, it just makes life more enjoyable. Like you have to create your own happiness. We are in such a society where it's just work, and just like hammering and hustle and all of that stuff. And we're trying to survive, let alone, so we have to work because we're trying to make money so we can literally just live our lives and live a life that we want. Take the time to bring that into your life. Get off the phones. Having more enjoyable experiences on a day-to-day life. Like doing things that you love each day, spending time for pleasure every day, and having emotional connection with somebody. And I don't just mean in sexual ways. I mean, that's a big plus. But get in front of people. Get in front of yourself. Like, get comfortable with your body. Life's too short for you to not have confidence in yourself. Because if you don't have confidence in yourself, you're holding yourself back from so many things, so many job opportunities, your goals, your dreams, the relationship that you want. It's probably even getting in the way of your relationship with your kids and with your own partner, or potentially finding a partner. So you owe it to yourself. Like, you deserve it. There's nothing wrong with you if you're experiencing low libido. Like, what in society is making us feel good about ourselves? Not really anything. What in society is making us feel or providing us high libido? Nothing. Like, there's so many things that play into it. So it's not you. Stop thinking it's you. It's okay. Let's work on it. It's exciting to know, like, you have the control to work on it and fix it. And in the process, learn so much more about yourself. And that is such a wonderful feeling, is when you feel in tune with yourself. So you're worthy of pleasure and desire and love, and you are beautiful already. So just enhance it. Thank you for watching episode 3 of Healing the Unhinged. I cannot wait to keep diving into different topics with you each week. And if there's anything that you ever need, please never hesitate to reach out. And if you loved what you saw, please click the like button. Please subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Send this to someone that you just think might need it. We need each other out there, so let's support each other. And what smut books are you reading? I would love to know, because I need more recommendations. I'm gonna start 4th wing soon. Also, tell me if you are a smut reader, how and if it's helped your sex life. That would be great to know. So anyway, have a great day, kittens.